is the health which is real wealth, not the gold or silver, or maybe health is the wealth, or maybe health is the key to happiness, right? Progress and development. Topic may be health is the key to happiness, progress and development. This may be the topic. Health is the key to happiness, progress and development. Just brainstorm time scale and sectoral scale. What will you write? Yes. So Ajay suggested you can start this topic with a reference, some reference, like of European countries, particularly Nordic countries, right? Or simple interpretation of definition. Health. Yes.
If we use the reference from European countries,
Ha.
they are rich enough.
Yes.
They are rich, they are happy.
Ha.
Because of their richness, they have resources, they can European health infrastructure.
Hmm.
So, will it be right to write their exam?
Not European countries. I am saying those countries like Nordic countries, right? Norway, and there are case studies in those countries, like spending on health is high, right? Consciousness among the people about good health is high. Those countries are not industrialized like Western European countries and other countries, right? But like they emphasize on health, and so they are happy. Happiness index also, they placed highly, right? Or you have choice, to start with, definition of health. How health conceptualized in ancient age, right? Just a Vedic text conceptualize health as physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, emphasized on physical, mental, spiritual well-being of the people, right? And this was, significance of health, right? Health was too significant that in ancient ages also we have references of Susruta, Charvaka, Vagbhat, right? Yoga, meditation, physical activities, right? Like today the Ayush medicines and all derived from, isn't it? Right. So you can refer, on time scale after defining the different components of health. On time scale, refer to this, and then you have to prove कि how health is real wealth or how health is key to happiness, progress and development, if that is the topic, right? So on sectoral scale, just tell me the points, what you have brainstormed. On sectoral scale, what will you write?
For intro, can
Huh.
we start with like a reverse thesis kind of a thing with like we can cite the example of African countries. with a bountiful
You can also, yes, comparison actually, right? Compare you can do, comparison you can do, right? Yes. Okay, on sectoral scale, what will be your points? Sectors mein, sectoral scale. Why health is the real wealth? Why health is the key to happiness, progress and development? Yes.
Then in the sector scale, I think we need to give the various dimensions of both health and wealth.
Mhm.
Like in wealth, we can talk about success, social transformation,
Mhm.
progress, happiness,
Mhm.
well-being, human development.
Yes.
And in health, we can talk about the various dimensions like mental health, psychological health, physical health.
Yes.
We need to show how these things are leading to the
yes. I mean separately writing and then correlating, both the variables. ठीक है, ये भी हो सकता है और
Let's start with the individual level, how individual health
Mhm.
in three dimensions, physical, mental and spiritual health. How is that contributed for that it increases innovation, efficiency,
Mhm.
social relationships, then we move to the society.
Yes.
How a healthy individual contributes to the society brings social capital.
Mhm.
That is also a part of wealth.
Yes,
And
yes.
then how he is in consonance with the environment brings natural health
Mhm.
capital, environmental capital.
Yes.
These dimensions, and then we can move on to political and economic health, where we have
Mhm.
vibrant democracy.
Mhm.
This is also part of health, which
Mhm.
promotes individualism, liberty,
Mhm.
and room for innovation, which again brings the capital.
Health like democracy and all, थोड़ा सा like topics से deviation will be there, right? You have to maintain exactness, right? कि हाँ, healthy individual, do participate in political participation will be high, isn't it? Political participation will be high, right? Mobilization will be high, yes.
Sir, we can link to gender equality.
Apart from this, you can link to gender equality also. Reproductive health is important aspect of health, which is ignored, which was ignored throughout societies and which is still ignored in Indian society, isn't it? Right. Now reproductive health in modern times, right, government has framed many policies, PCP, NITI Act and many other, maternity benefit acts and all to ensure good reproductive health. ठीक है इस line पे. Okay, yes gentlemen, you are late. On sectoral scale, health is the key to happiness, progress and development, or health is the real wealth, according to Mahatma Gandhi, not the gold and silver, right? Gandhian statement this is.
We can talk about malnourishment.
Huh?
We can talk about malnourishment.
Problems में. First you have to prove how health is the key to happiness, progress and development, or maybe topic may be health is the key to development, right,
Sir,
of the society.
in education, we can talk like in a healthy person resides a healthy mind.
Yes, education का sector में, yes, that is.
Sir, we have to give evidence also. Like in India, we have models for
हाँ,
development.
हाँ,
Like
हाँ, हाँ.
health expenditure became 2 times in the last 15 years.
Yes,
That's
yes.
1.5 times of national
Yes, in Delhi too, government has increased spending on health,
expenditure.
right?
Kerala model.
Kerala model.
Contrast with the Gujarat model. They have
Mhm.
also increased their income,
Mhm.
but the focus was on export and not on health and
Yes,
education.
yes,
But
yes.
Their development is slow.
Yes.
In health subject, it's better to prefer the different marginal sections rather than sectoral scale. Like
Mhm.
if health topic is there, then talking about women, old age, children.
Mhm. That also like sectional analysis, sectional analysis also is possible here. Like you have to prove. So that also may be the way.
Sectoral would be difficult, na, ki how politics.
No, like
how-
नहीं. health is the key to happiness, progress and development, right? When we talk of progress and development, so these are multi-dimensional actually. Health is one dimension which is related with multi-dimensions of society. Getting your point? But yes, in those dimensions, sectional dimension also may be included. Sectional dimension भी आ जाएगा उसमें, right? ठीक है. That is also one important aspect. Demographic aspect, demographic dividend, right? Human capital formation के लिए good health is important. Getting your point? And if human turns into capital, he brings dividend, right? Yes.
Sir, in environment perspective, people will adopt less consumerist approach.
Mhm.
It will lead to less exploitation of environment,
Mm-hmm.
and that angle also we can.
Yes.
Then we can,
What? Yes.
then we can say good health promotes a healthy workforce, and healthy workforce promotes life function.
Hmm.
Ultimately, they can link to economy.
Yes. What he told you can start with this: health and social development, or health as social good, right? Health and social development, right? Like in our society, like what we see, we observe, high infant mortality, high child death rate, children's death rate, right? Lack of geriatric care, isn't it? Lack of facilities for reproductive health, problems in reproductive health challenges, isn't it? Right. So health is the key to happiness, progress and development, isn't it? If the health infrastructure, if this social infrastructure for health,
Modern challenges as well shift from communicable to non-communicable.
non-communicable diseases, right? Lifestyle diseases, right?
Malnutrition.
Yes.
So we
This
can
is
talk of neglected tropical diseases due to lack of research. Like the developed countries are not interested in such research.
that may also come in problem area. Like here you have to prove first ki how health is the real wealth, right? Health is the real wealth. How health is the key to development. So you have to cite ki health is a social good. Health is the key to social development, right?
Can we think in this way?
Social happiness, progress and development. Social progress, development and happiness, right? जैसे old age people के लिए health, happiness for the old age people, isn't it? Right? Their participation, isn't it? Children's, right? Infants, getting your point, right? So like women, so for their happiness, progress, development, health is the key, right? So social sphere you can highlight, first, ठीक है ना? You may be creative here, right? And writing directly the facts, right? Yes.
So we can give the example of how India eradicated polio. India with a
Certainly that will. Let us make some sector clear. फिर उस पे बात करते हैं.
ये जो sections wise है,
Mhm.
this could be clubbed into a social part, social
Yes.
health and social health.
Yes.
We can talk about environmental health,
Yes.
political health,
Yes.
economical health.
Second point may be health has key to political development, right? Health has key to political development. Social development लिखिए, कुछ point लिखिए तो इसमें health as key to social development. Health as key to social development. Health as key to social development refers to qualitative changes in the life of the members of society. Qualitative changes in the life of members of society in all possible ways. Health is a social good. Health is a social good which ensures equality. Health is a social good which ensures equality, happiness, participation, social participation of different sections of society, different sections of society. Right.
Sir, would it be
For-
the right strategy,
Huh.
right strategy that if we discuss health as not just health aspect like physical health and psychological health, we can talk about political health.
Yes, yes, that certainly we will.
हाँ, नहीं मतलब पूरा सुनो।
अच्छा, political health.
Political health
Okay.
मतलब जैसे कि criminalization of politics, so that is not good health. It's like ill health.
No, that will deviate. That will be deviation, you know. Like that will be hyper thesis actually. वो hyper हो जाएगा, वो अलग चला जाएगा, separate. Like health means here we will have to specify, right? Then you will give example, you know, in social good, like refer to example of problems in health related with mortality, resulting into high rate of mortality, child death rate, reproductive health problems, and health of the aged population, lack of geriatric facilities, health of the aged population, right? Referring to some problems, conclude कि health is a social good, isn't it? More the children are healthy, more the women are healthy, more old age people are taken care of, right? More the social good for the society, more qualitative changes in the society, right? ठीक है, इन्होंने कहा political health. Let us see कि उसमें क्या कह सकते हैं कि health as a key to political development. Health as a key to political development. Right. The chances of healthy people to participate in political processes are higher than or more than unhealthy people or the people who are diseased, who are suffering, suffering from psychological health problems, suffering from health problems, unhealthy people, right? In a healthy society, debate and discussion over the political issues. In healthy society, debate and discussion over the political issues are high. This enables political discourse of a society. This enables, with more participation of the people, enables the political discourse of a society to become more democratic and accountable. Right. If people are concerned about health, एक और पॉइंट इसमें मेंशन कर सकते हैं, if the citizens, if the people concerned more about health, some critical issues like clean energy, sustainable development, etc., becomes part of the political discourse. Right. जैसे like if clean energy, cutting down emissions, right, carbon emissions, right, sustainable development, if these are not the important part of political discourse, because people are not aware about good health, isn't it? And the negative consequences of the red development, isn't it? Right, the unsustainable development. Getting your point? So these also becomes, important part of political discourse, right?
Example of more awareness of the people.
Yes.
So more resources, fiscal resources also allocated to health sector.
Yes,
And,
yes.
The issue of
That also, if people are more aware about the health, if health is the main discourse, if important discourse in society, right, like that becomes political issues for allocation of more resources on health, right? For example, Kerala, for example, Delhi, like in many states, the allocation of funds higher on health, right, in comparison to other sectors. Yes,
सर अभी nowadays open gym also निकल रहा है तो
that also you can refer, isn't it? कि that is like that was one issue during Delhi MCD election, right? BJP won और उसके जीतने में वो ओपन जिम का बड़ा रोल था, राइट? सो दैट ऑल्सो इन दिस रिगार्ड, राइट, कि दिस इज ऑल्सो लाइक की टू पॉलिटिकल प्रोग्रेस डेवलपमेंट, राइट? न्यू इशूज डिबेटेड, डिस्कस्ड, राइट? यस, यस, if जैसे could have been averted, ये एक प्रोस्पेक्टिव वो दे सकते हैं. If health would have been, if health becomes important issue, right, critical issue to be discussed politically, then this AES problem in Bihar recently or in Gorakhpur region, right, गैस के ऑक्सीजन के बिना इतने लोग का डेथ हो गया. सो ये सब एग्जाम्पल आप रेफर कर सकते हैं. नाउ दिस इज बिकमिंग,
Can we quote other countries' example? Like
Yes, why not?
Oriental countries have,
बिल्कुल 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 रेफरेंस दे सकते हैं. मतलब एक सेक्टर आपका हो गया जिसमें कि यू विल डिस्कस, राइट, एंड अदर लाइक look, like good health is key for good education, a skill, isn't it? Right? So health as key to economic development or health as economic good, right? Right, that will be the heading. और उसके अंदर आप लिखेंगे, right, good health of the citizens, good health of the citizens is also key to economic growth and development. Healthy people more healthy the society, more healthy the people in society, more healthy the people in the society, more they are absorbed in education, more they are inclined towards education, more they are skilled. Yes, that also, expenses also controlled, right? More they are skilled, and better the productivity of the workforce. Better the productivity of the workforce. Lower spending, जैसे इन्होंने कहा, lower spending on health. Next point ये कह सकते हैं कि जैसे health is key for economic growth and development. Lower spending on diseases, की lower spending on health related problems, more savings, more investment, more savings of the family, individuals, more savings of the family, right, more savings of government too, and more investment in productive process. Right.
So can we connect with the education system with the midday meal scheme? Because earlier the students
Yes,
were
yes,
not good, and nowadays it is improving.
yes, yes. This also you can mention, like different class of people in society. Like if you see, like in rural areas, disease prevalence is prevalence of diseases are high. In recent past, we are witnessing, because of lifestyle changes, lack of awareness, isn't it? So savings are also very low. Dependency, health expenditure is very high, right? Saving is low, so like growth and prosperity is also slow. Getting your point, right? So और इसमें क्या बोल सकते हैं? Health as economic.
People are pushed into poverty.
हाँ,
People are pushed out of poverty line.
हाँ, good health pushed out of poverty line, right? Yes, this may be. Look,
Sir, overutilization of fertilizers leading to death of the farmers
overutilization of fertilizers.
because of improper handling, lack of handling.
हाँ. That also, like you can cite, overutilization of fertilizers, land salinization, inhaling of that saline dust causing cancer in Punjab area, isn't it? But India and all, वहाँ से पूरा cancer express चलता है. बहुत ज़्यादा लोग, like in every second, third family there is case of cancer, right? So that also, कि economic development and see the economic development of Punjab, right? अभी like farmers are under stress, distressed, committing suicide, isn't it? तो उसको explain differently करना होगा, right? You can cite this example, but you will have to explain differently. Okay.
Can we talk about the innovation that comes from health and leads to entrepreneurship? Like a healthy mind is very
Yes, healthy mind, innovative mind, entrepreneurship, right? Yes.
We can cite that although he was mentally so healthy that he contributed to research.
Who? Yes. Stephen Hawking, you can cite his example, reference you can give, right? Yes, healthy mind, more innovation, entrepreneurship से फिर economic growth and development, initiatives, economic growth and development, right? Mental well-being, physical well-being, right? Ensures, economic well-being. Mental, physical well-being ensures economic well-being, right? Health as environmental good or health as key to environmental development, you can say ecological development, right? How? Look, sustainable consumption is key to good health, right? And if consumption is sustainable, that leads to sustainable environment, that ensures, that can ensure sustainable environment, sustainable ecology. Sustainable consumption is key to good health, right? And that ensures sustainable consumption, sustainable environment. Right? If people are conscious about health, aware about health, avoid, right, members of society, people, avoid conspicuous consumption, wasteful consumption, right? Today, the lifestyle diseases, problems which we have in society, that is one important reason is wasteful consumption, conspicuous consumption, isn't it? Just obesity and many other diseases because of conspicuous
Sir, we can
consumption.
say people who use bicycles are like eco-friendly and
Yes, all you can. Yes. Like consciousness, awareness about good health, isn't it? And sustainable means of transportation, sustainable means of like production, right? Sustainable organization of work, right? Right. और क्या कह सकते हैं इसमें? Economic, environmental, family level पे what will you speak? Lastly, family.
The upbringing make good part play a role. Like so if a person is well mentally sound, then he can give good upbringing to his children and all.
Yes. ठीक है. Reasoning है. हाँ?
Sports sector like health.
That is sports sector also, like family level पे what will you crop?
Psychological health and less violence.
Like well-being, like physical, mental well-being, right, results into happy life experiences in the family, isn't it? Right, happy life experiences in the family, positive life experiences in the family. Like even a single member in the family is diseased or suffer from some health problem, right, the whole family right, disturbed, isn't it? Family ka savings decreases, right? Family expenditure on, right, that also affects employment, isn't it? Like working, like old age person in the family diseased, so who take care of? The working population, isn't it? So uska employment पे impact, income पे impact, expenditure increases, isn't it? Pauperization starts, right? Indebtedness starts, isn't it? Right? So these things you can talk at the family level, and you can add this in social, or you can write separately also, right?
So we can refer to the increasing cases of depression and because of not physical well-being of the family atmosphere.
Yes.
So can we cite for pharmaceutical like drug and OTC related to that? Because of that issues that the diseases are increasing.
That causes problems area, right? 5-6 points you have to write, 5-6 paragraphs you have to write strongly. Family as key to development, right? Just say, can we relate, can we crop one point like unethical practices like good health is also related with ethicality. Good health is also related with ethicality. Health is also related with ethicality, right? Like unethical practice, sex selective abortion, right? Forceful abortions, sex selective abortions, right? This is also leads to like this has negative health consequences on women, isn't it? So health as you can say ethical good, right? Health as moral good, isn't it? Health is also the key to ethical and moral progress in society. Health is also the key to ethical and moral progress in society, right? If family, if society is concerned about good health of women, right, then certainly like forceful reproduction, right, unwanted reproduction, right, unwanted pregnancies, right, forceful abortions would be avoided, isn't it? Because these all have health consequences for women, negative health consequences for women, right?
So awareness about the vaccination.
Yes. ठीक है, उसमें कह सकते हैं like
Timely vaccination.
Okay. So these are some points. Then you will describe challenges.
Sir, there is contradictory with this statement also, sir. Some people are quite happy with by economically progress is there, development is there, but their health is not good. So
That is one dimension. Here as the key, as the topic, you have to prove how health is key to development. इधर आपको प्रूव क्या करना है? Context, as per the demand, as per the context, you have to prove, you have to justify कि health is the real wealth. Health is key to progress and development, happiness, right? That you have to prove, na? So in this context, you will crop the point to justify how health is the real wealth, how health is key to progress, development. इसको justification करेंगे. Then you will write reverse thesis कि though health is key to progress and development, but there are problems. Other dimension आप crop करेंगे कि there are problems, right? Problems in health sector, isn't it? Hampering happiness, progress and development, right? So you will write the point. What points you will write? Broad points लिखेंगे, बहुत माइक्रो डिटेलिंग में जाने का स्कोप नहीं होगा आपको. Like weak health infrastructure or lack of uniform and universal health infrastructure. Lack of uniform and universal health infrastructure is one important problem. Right, उसमें अपना डेटा फैक्ट्स डाल लीजिएगा इंडिया बुक से. और एक अदर यू कैन से कि why there is weak inadequate infrastructure. So that is because of low budget, isn't it? Financing problem, inadequate financing, low budgeting on health, right? Apart from this low budgeting, there is also weak regulatory mechanism to regulate health services. Weak regulatory mechanism. जैसे MCI है, but MCI highly politicized. MCI is highly politicized, right? So एक इसमें प्रॉब्लम में अपन काउंट करते हैं एक जनरल प्रॉब्लम में कि रेगुलेटरी मैकेनिज्म इज वेरी वीक. जैसे दिस वाज वीक रेगुलेटरी मैकेनिज्म which resulted into high sex selective abortion and decline in sex ratio. Getting your point? Today regulatory mechanism is at place, but still forceful abortions continues, right? Okay. Other related, inadequate numbers of health personals, right? Health personnel, उसके अंदर सारे personals को लिखेंगे. Inadequate number of health personnel, right? Also there are inequality in health infrastructure. Inequality, like there is class dimension, isn't it? जो private infrastructure है, Medanta and all, that is not accessible to lower class people, isn't it? That is not affordable to lower class people, right? As well as that is not available also, right? That is not available also. Far flung areas of Odisha, Jharkhand, right? वहाँ पे problem क्या है? Availability का problem is there, right? Class के context में, region के context में availability, class के context में affordability, isn't it? Accessibility and affordability का problem, right? Okay. So this will important point, inequality in health services लिखेंगे, inequality, right? Other, हमारे यहाँ क्या जो health related information system है वो बहुत adequate है. Are people aware of good health? नहीं. तो एक और point इधर कहते हैं जैसे Nordic countries में, European countries में health information system is very good, right? Health information system, ठीक है ना? Health information system is very poor and also like fragmented, not unified, fragmented. Medical education also we will talk, right? Medical education, poor medical education infrastructure, right? Problems जैसे इधर मैंने लिखा है आयुष, right? But this is also not universalized. This is also not universalized. Ayush medicine not universalized. There is problem in indigenous medicine system, right? That is also not accessible and affordable. आपको लगता है पतंजलि जो like Ayurveda and all में deal करता है, that is affordable to the poor? Huh? That is affordable to the poor? No. This is not like Ayush medicines also not affordable, accessible to all equally, right? So this also other factor में you can count कुछ government के level पे, low state spending. तो budgeting में we have counted like yes.
One major problem is that public health being a state subject.
हाँ.
The policies are designed by the center.
Yes, yes.
And there is lack of coordination between state and center.
State and center.
Some states have better policies than the one designed by the center.
Yes, yes.
States are unwilling to implement those policies.
Yes, yes. Like Delhi is unwilling to implement.
So our approach by the center government is creating problems.
Yes, this you will write. I mean governance and a problem in health governance in health sector, isn't it? And very good example, lack of coordination between center and state, right? Central policies, there are better policies of the state, at the place, then the central policy recent, you know, you can say PM आरोग्य जो अभी आया है, but yes, आयुष्मान भारत, राइट, वोटर्स ने तो आयुष्मान दे ही दिया इस पे, बाकी पता नहीं बेनिफिट कितना होगा लोगों को, but yes like this also, this is important aspect, you know, problem का aspect, ठीक है.
Then Aroഗ്യ योजना, National Protection Scheme and Ayushman Bharat. Which name you should use? People don't know. It is very confusing.
People, like what I observed, you know, people were happy with their smart card. Whether that will benefit or not, nobody questioned, but yes, I found people standing in queue for hours for getting the smart card, right? And with the notion 5 लाख रुपया मिलेगा. मैंने एक दो लोगों से मैंने पूछा कि ये क्या है, व्हाट, तो 5 लाख रुपया मिलेगा इलाज कराने के लिए. अरे तो बीमार हो गए तब मिलेगा ना, तो 5 लाख रुपया मिलेगा. आई मीन खैर, एनीवेज, this is also the problem, you know, complexity in health, governance of health infrastructure, right, that you will, right. Other social regions, social problems, social regions, right. Health cannot be understood, right, or good health or health problems cannot be understood, you know, without taking into account the social context, right. Illiteracy, right, poverty, right, inequality, patriarchal, you know, discriminations, right.
But we can also say rural areas में doctor जाने के लिए they are not.
तैयार नहीं है. Yes, this is also social region, right, social factor, right. ठीक है, जो like distant areas जो है, like hills, mountainous regions, hilly terrains, right, forests, right, in tribal areas, right, doctors are not ready to go because of that of, you know, biases and prejudices, you know. ऐसा नहीं है कि उधर facilities नहीं मिलता उनको, facilities, even if facilities are there, unwilling to go because of, you know, urban orientation, right. So social regions also you will count.
Sir, reluctance to immunization drives, like they also have prejudices regarding the immunization process and all.
Yes, that is because of literacy and awareness, right. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो लोग individual ऐसा कर रहे हैं, individual का problem है, that is problem of society actually, right. कि they are not aware, they are not literate enough to understand, you know, significance of immunization, vaccination, right. So we will count, you know, social problems also. These social regions also, you know, responsible for, right, poor health, isn't it, condition, ठीक है. जैसे malnutrition, hunger, not only because of, you know, lack of food availability, also because of ceremonial fasting, right, ceremonial fasting, forced ceremonial fasting, तो वो भी आप social region लिख सकते हैं, right, Tuesday को fasting, Saturday को fasting, Sunday को fasting kind of. Okay, then reverse thesis, udhar you please refer to the government initiatives, suggestion and government initiatives. Last May we will write suggestion and government initiatives. Also, you know, like health sector के लिए, जैसे I will suggest you, India book से अगर मिलता है या good models, you know, you can collect to give evidence. जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि evidence दे सकते हैं, जैसे केरला मॉडल का evidence दे सकते हैं, तमिलनाडु मॉडल का evidence दे सकते हैं, right, ओडिशा मॉडल का evidence दे सकते हैं. There are different, you know, some states are performing better than, you know, the state policies are performing better than the center's policy, isn't it, right. So you can have, you know, those models in mind to justify the context of any essay on health, right. Okay. You can also, like, जैसे कुछ अगर स्कोप मिलेगा किसी टॉपिक में लिखने के लिए, तो you can write about the policies, path breaking policies like ASHA का ASHA, accredited social health workers, right, USAs, ASAs. Look, like it was realized that even if health infrastructure is there, like women are unwilling to go, or they are not facilitated to get access to, you know, health infrastructure. So accredited social health worker, that was conceptualized, you know, to provide services to women at doorstep, isn't it, because there was patriarchal barrier, you know, like patriarchal, women were dependent on the males, isn't it, for accessibility to health services. अब उसमें वो conceptualization था कि health services will be provided at the doorstep, right? और उसमें like the basket of choices also broadened, right? जैसे reproductive health के बारे में ASHA used to socialize women, right? In reproductive health, used to provide at doorstep contraceptives, etc. Like providing choices to control reproduction, isn't it? So these were some good initiatives, right? But इसमें आयुष्मान भारत and all, उसमें वो सब आशा and all, there was case study which suggested, World Bank ने भी study किया कि that was a path breaking initiative, right? In particularly in respect to reproductive health, right, of women, right? Because services were provided at doorstep. Women were empowered with those services, right? They had choice for good health, right? Okay. Next topic, some from previous year. If the topic is, हालांकि easy topic है, आप सभी लिख देंगे इस पे, yes?
Another aspect is that health has not been a part of the mainstream political discourse.
हाँ, that is. Problem में you can write this. Problem वाला area में, because we have seen कि this is key to, या फिर जो हमने governance की बात करी ना, right? उस area में you can write, ठीक है ना? Governance is poor. This is not electoral issue in India, right? This is not democratic political issues in India, right? And that also has consequences on, right? Because the political discourse is not serious, increasing spending on health, right? So governance wala area mein you can refer this, ठीक है ना? Okay, there is one topic, and I think most of you can write this. Colonial mentality hindering India's success. पता नहीं, मुझे लग रहा है कि इससे related topic कुछ repeat हो सकता है because of nationalist discourse in our politics, isn't it? Governance, isn't it? And many laws also, laws framed during colonial period, right, abolished in last 2-3 years, right? And government also, like on from many fronts, like Prime Minister and others have refuted, rejected that this is colonial, this is of the past, right? Change required. Okay, so just say particularly in administration, bureaucracy, right? Government is warning not to work with colonial mentality, right? So the हाँ, रिसेंटली वही मेरे को लगा कि अभी जैसे आर्टिकल्स में पढ़ रहा था बजट पे, तो उसमें कि दिस इज कॉलोनियल मेंटालिटी, राइट, इन आवर सोसाइटी, आई मीन बही खाता, तो काइंड ऑफ एक बैकग्राउंड ऐसा बन रहा है कि लाइक द टॉपिक में बी आस्क्ड, colonial mentality hindering India's progress. Colonial mentality hindering India's progress. Such topic may be asked, right? So please think for 5 minutes. देखिए, 2 ब्रॉड डायमेंशन इसमें ही लिखना है, 2 ही, ज़्यादा इनोवेशन, ज़्यादा कुछ करने का स्कोप नहीं है. डायमेंशन इज colonial mentality hindering India's success. Thesis and antithesis, colonial mentality not hindering India's success or progress, right? The dimensions to justify कि colonial mentality has not hindered India's progress, right? But right from rise of nationalism, English education, right from rise of nationalism, unification, rise of nationalism to progress, right? 2 broad dimensions are there. So please crop some points. What will you write in main body?
And so with respect to colonial mentality, we will start our essay primarily from post-independence. No? Like, so there only we inherited this legacy on temporal scale.
On time scale. Yes. और colonization का temporal scale में you can better refer colonization का, the period, the introductions of like policies by the colonial rulers, right? Hmm.
Sir, can we interpret this colonial mentality in a way that you can trace the root of this mentality to ancient India? Let's say the difference between master and slave. The colonial mentality is that one is ruled, one is a ruler, and the other is ruled. So this mentality has been there in the past also, because the caste structure and the Varna system is actually byproduct of this mentality. And right from the Vedic period, we can see this. So can we trace this, the root? And because of this mentality, the polity was fragmented and the colonial force came and they conquered the land.
So, but colonies is a modern concept. Those were other kinds of, those were religious.
Like it is better to start with, colonial period, in this topic, to be contextual, But yes, in some part of your essay, like maybe in pre-conclusion, right, you can establish, parity between the past, isn't it? And you can write a thesis ki the mentality which we are referring to the colonies and colonial rulers, actually that resembles with the state of affairs in the past. Getting your point?
Common in all the societies. Those kind of things are common in all the societies in the world.
Yes.
The countries which are colonial hangover, they are facing some different kind of problems.
Yes.
They only couldn't come out of the colonial mentality.
Yes.
They had those problems, they came out and they progressed.
Yes. Their interventions, and all, like caused problems, isn't it? Even after, independence, something which we followed, we continued with, isn't it?
Police. Police power.
Yes, policing system, civil services, bureaucracy, isn't it? Centralization of power, isn't it? Those we have to crop here. उस पे crop करेंगे, right? Okay, fine. You have to balance actually. दोनों point लिखना है ना इसमें. As I told you, colonial mentality hindering India's progress, as well as the counter thesis also you have to write. ठीक है ना? Counter thesis also you have to write.
Are these words replaceable like colonial mentality and British legacy? Or they very much qualitatively different?
British legacy hindering India's success, progress. British legacy hindering India's, दोनों dimension आएगा. British legacy facilitating also, right, and has to some extent hindered also, right. some, like when you were writing on colonial mentality as hindrance for India's progress, so some, you know, like the factors, hindering factors, like Britishers, you know, responsible for giving rise to communalism, isn't it, in India? ठीक है ना? And that sense of, you know, communalism is still continuing, time to time, you know, emerging, time to time, you know, affecting solidarity, integration, unity, right? Manifesting in separatist movement, Khalistan movement, isn't it? Right. So that is, वो जो mentality था, that had emerged during colonial period. You were not making, you know, Britishers responsible for this. जरूरी नहीं है कि इसके लिए हम क्या ब्रिटिश को रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं देंगे, रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं बताएंगे, राइट? That mentality had emerged during colonial period because of divide and rule policy of the Britishers, right? And that is still, you know, hindrance to India's progress, isn't it? Because progress के लिए जरूरी है unity, solidarity, integrity, interaction, isn't it? And communalism, communal biases, prejudices, right? Communal rights threatens, you know, our unity, solidarity, integrity. कल भी मैंने बोला था कि communal rights के केस में diversion of funds, isn't it? Right? So such points we will write, you know. ठीक है. First point we should start with, you know, in main body, that is of, you know, communal divide, right? On sectoral scale एक अपन count करेंगे communal divide and rule policy of the Britishers, right? Rise of communalism. ठीक है. Yes.
How do we define colonial mentality? What exactly is this term?
Like colonial mentality, like you can say, you know, the policies, the initiatives that reflects their mentality, right? Their notion on India.
So like sedition laws still prevalent. So that is also colonial legacy.
That is also one colonial legacy.
We can say
Huh?
the rational we should look at, right? The issue is if we don't understand the meaning of the term, then we will not be able to address it.
Like mentality means colonial notion. ठीक है ना? Colonial notion.
If it's the mentality of the ruler and rule, both. Like one is the ruler, like the government is the ruler.
Yes.
Expect getting independence, the mentality that we are.
Like the mentalities, the notions. Look, the mentalities, notions which emerged during colonial period, isn't it? Right? Out of, you know, colonial rule, the policies, isn't it? Right? Mentality here is, you know, indicative term. This is indicative term, right? Exact meaning interpret karna, or you have to, this encompasses, you know, this encompasses the initiative, interventions, policies, isn't it? Their notions, isn't it, during the colonial rule. Getting a point, right? Broadly, this topic was asked by UPSC, right? UPSC ने पूछा हुआ है ये standard, you know, topic है, UPSC ने पूछा हुआ है. तो इसमें like colonial mentality में notion of the colonies. What was their notion? Their notion was to divide and rule, isn't it? And that divide and rule policy given rise to communalism, right? Divide and rule policy was not limited only to communities. They also, you know, through their policy initiatives, like created gulf between the regions, right? Gulf between the regions, isn't it? Right?
Extremist and moderates.
There also, you know, gulf inequality, institutionalized inequality between the caste, like Jat regiments, Rajputana regiments, isn't it? ये सब देखते हैं. Like caste existed. आपने कहा कि caste inequality was there, but they institutionalized it in a different way. They institutionalized caste in administration. They institutionalized caste in bureaucracy. They institutionalized caste in consolidated caste by institutionalizing it in army. Getting a point? That was their mentality. Getting a point? तो ये mentality के बारे में बात करेंगे. Isn't it? We will give reference, you know, of these regiments. Isn't it? आज भीमा कोरेगांव conflict क्या है? Like Mahar regiment, Maratha regiment, isn't it? And they created gulf, you know. They institutionalized inequality, established inequality, caste का जो inequality था उसको establish कर दिया इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ आर्म फोर्सेस, और उसी का कॉन्सिक्वेंस एक अपन देख रहे हैं ना, लाइक महर कम्युनिटी, लाइक दे वर गोइंग टू सेलिब्रेट दैट महर रेजिमेंट्स का अचीवमेंट एंड लीडिंग टू कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, इज़न्ट इट? कास्ट भीमा कोरेगांव का जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ, राइट?
इंट्रोडक्शन में इसको डिफाइन करना हो, सर ऐसे कर सकते हैं अनडेमोक्रेटिक, मतलब ये जो काम है
अनडेमोक्रेटिक नहीं बोलेंगे, लाइक जो उनका पॉलिसीज था, जो नोशन था इंडिया में, जो ब्रॉड 4-5 आपको दिखता है वो लिखेंगे, ठीक है ना? जैसे यस,
Sir, it essentially break away from traditional mentality after the coming in of colonial process. वो line में हमको शुरू करना चाहिए. Colonial mentality means whatever the change in our perception is, is the coming in of colonial process.
look, both positives are there as well as negatives are there. Like we credit Britishers for modernization of India, ठीक है ना? मॉडर्नाइजेशन ऑफ इंडिया की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो भी क्रेडिट की, मॉडर्न ब्यूरोक्रेसी, मॉडर्न लाइक एजुकेशन, राइट, मॉडर्न सिस्टम ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, मॉडर्न पुलिसिंग, राइट, ये सब ब्रिटिश ने इंट्रोड्यूस किया. बट देयर नोशन वाज नॉट एम्पावरिंग द पीपल बट कंट्रोलिंग, रूलिंग, इजंट इट? और उस नोशन में लाइक दे ऑर्गेनाइज्ड आर्म्ड फोर्सेस बट ऑन कास्ट लाइन, इजंट इट? कास्ट लाइन पे, right? Like in bureaucracy, like representation of Indian was very low at higher bureaucracies, isn't it? Women का representation was very low, isn't it? That still continues, आज भी continue हो रहा है, right? Though they modernized, but their notion was their notion was not uniform modernization, right? Universal, like bureaucracy आ गया हमारे society में without universalization of education. Civil servants without universalization of education, civil services without universalization of education, that caused breakdown. हमारे we don't have civic sense today, isn't it? We don't question authority of bureaucrats, right? अभी भी माई बाप culture is there, bureaucrats are considered as godfathers, so that is British notion. Civil servant है ना, civil servant है, but like people perceive them as God, right? Superior, powerful, right? That is their notion. That was their notion actually. That is what we refer colonial mentality.
So
Right.
somewhere or other this can also lead to corruption also.
Yes.
Acceptance to corruption is a colonial.
Yes, that is also. So what I mean to say कि points. Let us discuss one by one. तो एक अपन बात करेंगे communalism का, second regionalism, isn't it? That is also colonial hangover, right? और सॉरी, यस, हाँ वही, इसमें लाइक द डिवाइड एंड रूल पॉलिसी, राइट, ठीक है.
divide and rule policy nowadays horse trading, sir. Horse trading is going on. Nowadays governing system, government गिरी, इसको spoil हो जा रही, break हो जा रही है state में. की वजह से अभी recent example ले सकते हैं सर, कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट का या तमिलनाडु का. इससे आयाराम गयाराम के concept आके divide and rule का
He's saying that can be related to today's political aspect, like the leaders are dividing people on caste lines, religious lines.
That is communalism, communal politics, right? Caste politics, right? Regional politics, right? ये सब ठीक है ना. Third, like
VIP culture, officer culture, like
that also like
separation of voices.
English education, ठीक है ना. That is also colonial hangover. English education, ठीक है, उसके फायदे भी है, but English education is also colonial hangover at the cost of vernacular languages, isn't it? And education in vernacular system, vernacular languages, right? So that also you will count, ठीक है.
We can formulate a broad education topic in which English versus vernacular, neglect of mass education.
Yes, mass education.
Women's education.
Focus on higher education, not on basic education, right? Neglect to women's education, neglect to education, rural masses, education of the rural masses, isn't it? Tribals, right? In broad perspective में कि still disparities continues, educational disparity continues, tribe non-tribe का disparity, शेड्यूल कास्ट नॉन शेड्यूल कास्ट का डिस्पैरिटी, मेन वुमेन का डिस्पैरिटी, रीजनल डिस्पैरिटी इन एजुकेशन कंटिन्यूज एंड दिस डिस्पैरिटीज हैव इट्स रूट्स इन ड्यूरिंग British period, isn't it? Their education policy, right?
Positive side we can say.
Positive may also, we will count positive separately, right? Let us count the negative aspect of this hangover, right? Colonial hangover, right?
Divided in sectors, like in political, we can mention some bills and all which they introduced and still we are carrying. And so then economy. There's a social. So it will
Look. First I started with social. Okay, what I am talking is communalism, right? Regional divide, right? Regional divide, education, right? Organization of castes into associations, right? Then you can also exploitation of tribals. The British tribal policies were exploitative, right? British tribal policies were exploitative, right? That still continues, that hangover still continues. Forcefully, they removed tribals, they intervened in tribal regions, that hangover still continues, isn't it? Multinational corporations, right, intervened in tribal areas, right? Further, जैसे politico administration में, politico and administrative sphere में, right, the bureaucracy, civil services, the overall politics.
Cooperative attitude is also a point that we can see over here.
Yes, that is because of caste associations, consciousness. Triveni Sangh was formed in year 1903, right? Triveni caste associations, caste groups, isn't it? Their mobilization, and that guff still continues, right? Okay, exploitation of tribals, and then political administration में centralization, right? Centralization of power, right? Opposite to decentralization. Even if today we have decentralized power, right, at grassroots level, but that hangover is visible, right, in failure of Panchayati Raj institutions, isn't it? Power is still centralized in hand of bureaucracies, isn't it? Not the elected representatives of the panchayats, right?
Restriction on press.
That also, right? Yes, like power and political administration. Please think over political administrative, right? Colonial hangover in politics and administration. So centralization एक हो जाएगा, isn't it? Concentration of power. Instrument. Yes, instrument. Yes, to take their orders. Instrument to implement their orders, right? Not to. Yes, that also politicization of bureaucracy, control of politicians over bureaucracy, right? Over civil services. Not politicization. Colonial hangover, nahi. Politicization started during Indira Gandhi's regime when she gave, the concept of committed bureaucracy, right? Like in centralization, is colonial hangover, right? That is colonial mentality. Concentration of power, colonial mentality, right?
The individual attitude towards government, that they still think that government is someone alien.
Yes.
And individual attitude towards law.
Yes.
Because of civil disobedience movement, like the violation of law.
Yes. These things you can write. Okay, na? Like still, there is distance between government, administration, and the citizens, isn't it? During British period, citizenship rights were not there. State and subject ka relation was there. State and subjects, right? Only duties. Indians had to pay duties, follow the commands, isn't it? That mentality still continues, right? Hardly we see people questioning the exploitative policies of the government, isn't it? अगर जैसे आज का जो scenario है इसमें, if you question the government, you are ऐसा नहीं लिखेंगे, हालांकि यू आर डिक्लेयर्ड एज नेशनल एंटी नेशनलिस्ट, राइट, एंटी नेशनल, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं लिखेंगे, बट यस दैट मेंटालिटी इज स्टिल कंटिन्यूइंग, राइट। और आप है भी, आप ओपनली कहीं सोशल मीडिया पे अमित शाह जी का क्रिटिसिज्म कर दीजिए तो सेडिशन चार्ज लगना ही है, सेडिशन लग जाएगा, एकदम गारंटीड लग जाएगा, सेडिशन का चार्ज लग जाएगा, राइट। तो लाइक दैट इज, दिस इज colonial mentality, right? This is colonial mentality, enforcing their choice, their voice, their thinking, right, their mentality on the citizens, right? Subject के ऊपर enforce कर सकते हैं, not on citizens, because citizens have rights also, isn't it? Citizens have guaranteed right. Red tapeism also, that also, right? जैसे इन्होंने कहा Bavarian democracy, bureaucracy, तो Bavarian bureaucracy, which was implemented by Britishers, right, that is characterized by red tapeism, and that still continues. Red tapeism still continues, right?
Lack of sensitization towards the lower strata of the society.
Lack of
sensitization against the lower strata of the society.
that also divide and rule policy के तहत they divided the groups, isn't it? Politico administrative sensitization was not there, sensitivity was not there, that still continues, right? ठीक है। जैसे आप में से जिनका पबैड होगा वो कुछ और नोवेल पॉइंट्स लिख सकते हैं इसमें, पॉलिटिको एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव वाले फैक्टर्स में, रेड टैपिज्म में, राइट, जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी का जो लाइक प्रॉब्लम्स है, ठीक है ना, क्या है ब्यूरोक्रेसी का प्रॉब्लम? करप्शन, रेड टैपिज्म, isolation of the people, from bureaucracy, alienation, estrangement, isn't it? Elitism, that also, okay, ठीक है। Please write about legal में penal code, right? The IPC penal code, like Britishers had to enforce their ideas, their moral behavior upon the Indians. They had to establish their rule, to rule over India. They had to enforce their ideas, their moral behavior upon Indians, right? And particularly to check native rebellions, right? And so they framed suitable laws, isn't it? They implemented suitable laws, right? And those were aggregated in Indian Penal Code. Many of the outdated, many of those laws still, continuing in India. Yes, sedition law, martial law, sedition laws, isn't it?
Adultery law.
Yes, Official Secrets Act, adultery laws, yes, adultery laws, LGBT rights and all, laws relating to LGBT rights. Yes. So,
Criminal trials.
carrying with the death penalty, although
yes, that also, ठीक है। So, one point to justify colonial hangover, you will refer to laws, right? Many archaic laws still, continuing, ठीक है। Other like westernization के aspect, like westernization, 150 years of rule and that impact on culture, right? Culture, lifestyle, food habits, blind imitation of British culture, tradition, imitation of clothing, right? So that also we will write. और क्या लिखेंगे इसमें? Political, administrative, social, economic also, right? Economic, selective intervention policy. Selective intervention policy of the Britishers for economic growth by default continued even after independence. Selective intervention than uniform developmental policy. Drain of wealth theory कलेक्ट, नहीं आज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में तो ब्रेन गेन, न्यू कॉलोनियलिज्म, न्यू कॉलोनियलिज्म, राइट, इन दैट यू कैन जस्टिफाई, बट दिस पॉइंट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, एनसीईआरटी में भी मेंशन है, लाइक सेलेक्टिव इंटरवेंशन पॉलिसी ऑफ द ब्रिटिशर्स, गवर्नमेंट्स बाय डिफॉल्ट कंटिन्यूड विद सेलेक्टिव इंटरवेंशन पॉलिसी देन inform regional planning, inform planning for regional development, right? And that is the reason, you know, today many states are excluded from the developmental process, right? There is gulf between, you know, developed states and Bimaru states, isn't it? Right. So that also we will refer.
Land reform system.
Yes, land reform. That is also right. Just Britishers' land reform was selective in nature, right? Britishers' land reform was selective. Land reform refers to total improvement in land system, right? But Britishers did not intervene for total improvement in land system, but their focus was maximization of collection of taxes, right? In some regions, you know, cotton, some region, like so differently. Even after independence, you know, government continued with the elective and selective land reform policy, did not introduce land reform for total improvement in the land system, right? So there also we see this hangover in land reform aspect also, okay? Right, in agriculture also, the primordial practices, right, the primordial practices existing during British period, right, unsustainable, primordial, that continued after independence, right, that continued, like focus on productivity, production, isn't it, right, not on sustainable production, right, not on sustainable, क्योंकि ब्रिटिश के समय में क्या था, एक्सट्रैक्शन ज़्यादा चाहिए था उनको, तो उनके लिए प्रोडक्शन वाज इम्पॉर्टेंट, पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस ऑल्सो, यू नो, राइट, सो दिस ऑल्सो एग्रीकल्चर के एस्पेक्ट में ऑल्सो वी कैन राइट, ठीक है. एंटी हाँ हाँ
तो सबसे अभी भी चल रहा है, तो इससे बहुत सारे SC/ST को, ट्राइबल लोगों को कन्वर्ट किया जा रहा है. ट्राइबल लोग अपने ही ओरिजिनल ट्राइबल लोगों के साथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट.
No, this point we will not write, because look, 150 years of rule was sufficient to convert each and every Indian into Christians. They ruled for 150 years, right? So ये कहना will be faulty, you know, right? Like Christian missionaries played a very important role, crucial role in education, ठीक है ना? In spreading education, education index of many southern states is very high, not because of post-independent interventions, right, but because of Christian missionaries. Still, you know, religious institution playing role like madrasas and Christian missionaries, that is because they are functional. State interventions are still very low, right? State का spending is still very low, isn't it? So when we see these facts, you know, तो वो सब थोड़ा सा biased and prejudiced लगता है, उसको avoid करेंगे. हाँ, certainly, like वो positive contribution है, that is positive role actually. अभी भी religious institutions are playing role in education, missionaries, Montessori's, right? क्योंकि अभी भी देखते हैं इंडिया में government spending is very low. There is educational disparity actually, right? Religious institutions at least, you know, providing affordable education, right? Quality education at affordable cost, right? So ठीक है, that is positive legacy actually. वो positive legacy है. Many religious institutions, you know, followed, like Hindu religion में भी, like Christian missionaries and madrasas, you know, emerged as reference model, right? And many cults and sects are involved in spreading education. Satya Sai Trust today runs thousands of schools in spreading, providing, you know, quality education at affordable price. CBSE education in Bihar, UP, right, which cannot be afforded by a rickshaw wala, right? तो वो पॉजिटिव चीज़ है, ठीक है, ओके. नेक्स्ट वी विल काउंट ऑन, यू नो, लाइक आफ्टर राइटिंग colonial mentality as hindrance India's success, we will write on positive impacts of, you know, colonial rule, positive impacts of colonial rule. And the most important, you know, impact is unification of India, right? The India which we have today, right? Unification of India through political unification, administrative unification, political unification, right? Also, like this mentality of unifying India, you know, like raised consensus of Indian nationalism, provided consciousness or raised consciousness, prepared background for Indian nationalism, freedom struggle, which earlier was divided politically. India, this territory earlier was divided politically into many states. Unification, political unification of India, prepared background for rise of similar kind of consciousness, common consciousness and commonality in consciousness, consolidated into a nation, right? Indian nation played important role. Such consciousness played role in emergence of nationalism. Second, the modern education system. The modern education system, the English education. दो उधर हमने काउंट किया है कि वर्नाकुलर पे इसका प्रॉब्लम एंड ऑल, बट दिस मॉडर्न एजुकेशन प्लेड इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन in inculcating modern rationality, secular outlook, scientific notions, right? The English language as common language helped in establishing communication, pan-India communication, right? The modern liberal values of equality, liberty, rights, individual rights, freedoms, propagated by the socio-religious reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Rai, right, and others also reflects the significance of English education, right? English education, British.
All these things were some of the positive aspect of colonial government in India.
Yes.
That's the question, like, do we have to conclude, like, even though with this kind of colonial handle is present in India, but we can come out and we have progress this much, like in terms of economy, education.
Yes. Like after describing analyze कि despite hangover, because of these positives we have progressed. Getting your point? Because Britishers positively also contributed, colonial rule positively also contributed. Yes.
The term colonial mentality is a pejorative and negative connotation. It cannot have a positive aspect of it. What we are writing here is
It's not negative, like that mentality actually, the notion also had some positive outcomes for India, like English education, right? So English education, they had their own benefits in introducing English education. ठीक है ना? That may would have compromised with like vernacular language, isn't it? Or development of vernacular language, right? Hindered, but uska positive outcome, rise of nationalism, interrelatedness, interconnectedness, communication, right? So that mentality, like अगर आप English को मानते हो कि English is colonial mentality, speaking English is colonial mentality, isn't it? But speaking English has positive also, na? Getting your point? So we'll write positives and then, as he suggested, conclude counting on कि despite limitations of the colonial mentality, this mentality proved, right, to be like progressive, like this has facilitated progress in different domains. Getting your point, right? इस लाइन पे इसको लेकर जाएंगे. Colonial mentality को negative concept में नहीं लेंगे केवल ना. This is not
But when you use this term, colonial mentality, carries
that is used in context actually. ठीक है, जब criticize करना होता है तो एक context में use करते हैं, but reverse thesis also you have to think. Reverse thesis भी सोचेंगे इस पे, ठीक है? Some positives.
according to me, we have come out of that mentality. Though there are some characters which are seen in the contemporary India, but we are fast moving out of it. And the colonial mentality mentality is not actually hindering our progress.
Hmm.
We have we can cite the development we achieved in different sectors.
No, like just say English education ka. If today IT sector boom is there, if India has become IT superpower, and if India has to become economic superpower, can be compromised with English language, English education?
If it is British legacy,
Ha.
is a term which has both positive and negative.
Yes.
If the SC topic is British legacy hindering India's progress, then
Yes.
it would have been okay.
Yes.
The term is colonial mentality, which I understand is that it cannot have a positive aspect. It is
No. Like in essay, you can write reverse thesis also. You should not look into one dimension only, right? In essay, you can, in one or two paragraph, you will crop the point of positive notions, positive outcomes, right? Just say if you talk of English education only, so English education are not only nationalism, not only unification, communication, but also today, aaj, if globalization, liberalization, privatization could not resulted into major background as it breakdown as it happened in Latin America, as it happened in Southeast Asian countries, that is because of English education, right? English education educated youth adopted to the global needs and demands, isn't it? Multinational corporations, right? Employment in multinational corporations, IT sector growth. If we are ahead of other countries in Asia, that is because of English education. Getting your point or not, right? So this is not only hindered, English was colonial mentality, imposing English was colonial mentality, right? Aspect of colonial mentality, but that did not only hindered, but also facilitated the progress of India. That mentality facilitated progress of India, right? So that also, okay, we are getting over of that mentality, that dimension also will write, right? Okay, because now English has hampered, hampering development of vernacular languages. We have policy at the place, which facilitate education in vernacular language too. Getting your point? So, wo ho gaya ki we have got out of that hangover. In vernacular languages also, education system is right. Okay. So, in this direction, right? Politics में जैसे human rights, human values, right? Rule of law, isn't it? Political legal system he will count on, parliamentary system, yes, he will refer to like reforms 1909, 1919, 1935 and 35 to constitution, right? 1935 act to constitution, ठीक है ना? Yes, in course of time, dilution of caste system in services on the basis of meritocracy, merit, right? During British period itself it was established, merit as the basis of employment, meritocracy, right? Not the status, not the ascribed status, right? Inherited status. Upliftment of women, yes, this also you can write, like liberal values, right?
1856 Act, 1829 Act, child marriage.
Yes, you can refer those, like acts, right? Policies of the Britishers. Take care.
Sir, you understood the importance of communication.
The separation between judiciary, executive and legislature.
This also. Take care. All the policies which are still, significant, right? In political administrative, in legal, isn't it? In social sphere, right? Those which are, still functional, that you will count, and the most importantly, you will conclude with how India in course of time, right, through many constitutional reforms, isn't it? Administrative reforms, right? Economic reforms, right? Political, educational reforms has got out of British hangover, right? Colonial hangover, colonial mentality, isn't it? And this, like we have reformed the British policies, British notions as per the emergent functional need of the society. In course of time, as need has emerged, right? The laws have been reformed, administrative reform has taken place, educational reform has taken place, universalization of education, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, isn't it? Right? Need emerged, for universalization of education, that also, and this Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, universalization of education, like provided in vernacular language, isn't it? Right, promotion of vernacular language, right? Today, like, we are getting out of that British hangover, colonial mentality, opening up of schools for tribals, opening school, tribal universities, right? Opening of all women schools, all women colleges, isn't it? So these are all aspects, getting out of British or colonial, mentality, colonial hangover, isn't it? Right. This line pe,
So is the conclusion India has gotten over or is getting over?
getting over, right? Getting over, right? All the initiatives and reforms and all, and these interventions which I counted, ki modern schools for girl child, modern schools for tribals, universities for tribals, these are aspects of, getting over, right? Decentralization of power, right? Like PESA Act, especially, Act for the tribals, isn't it? These facts will refer to India getting over, colonial mentality.
Decentralization started in British time only. Sir, like first of all that.
British time this started, but like powers, isn't it? Now it's constitutional.
But it was not devolved.
Yes.
Power was not devolved actually.
That was more symbolic actually, right? Symbolic tha. Abhi kya hai? This is constitutional, right? Okay. So this is. Yes.
Sir, we have write the negative impacts and positive impacts. So what should be the ratio of it? Like 50-50 or?
No, like hangover, you will write, like in main body, 50 to 60%, like, yes, how this is hindering, right? And then positives, ठीक है ना? And then sum up, right? Okay, take one topic, reading without reflection, knowledge without application. Reading without reflection, knowledge without application, or maybe topic may be knowledge without application, of no use. Reading without reflection, knowledge without application. Right? Of no use. Please एकदम ऑब्जेक्टिव पॉइंट्स में सोचिए कि what you will write. Objective 5 minutes. Please think over for 5 minutes. Objectively. Topic may be reading without reflection of no use, or knowledge without application is of no use. Knowledge without application is of no use. Reading without reflection is of no use. Just thought something. Yes, thought something, right? Yes, last draw. Tell me. Last शुरू करता हूँ. Yes, thought something.
Sir, by the reading we get the good ideas, value, probability. We get from that. But in actual life, sir, whole reading is best because of the if you see the cases of the corruption and all that.
Yes.
If you take the example of the police and all that, they take the oath of
Mhm.
the so we will not do corruption. But actual life they do corruption and all that in the training this type of things.
Yes, yes, good example. Yes.
Sir, in temporal dimension, can start from Chandra Advaita Vedanta, where he lists a few steps, in which one step is Manana, which is actually reflecting on what you have read or what you have learned. According to him, it is the beginning point of attaining liberation. So, blind reading will not be enough. Reflecting on what you have read and meditating on it is the sure way to achieve liberation. Second, we can begin also from the Alexander the Great. When he heard about or saw the map of the world, or let's say when he heard about from his teacher Aristotle about this geographical area of this world, then he thought up on that, he reflected on that, and it made him
Conquer, the world.
Yes.
Right.
And another Martin Luther of Germany, he was a theologian. He was a professor of theology in Germany. But when he read the Bible, not only read, and when he reread it, when he tried to interpret it, then he saw a lot of discrepancies between what the Bible actually taught and what the practice is there. Because as we said, sir, the charter to heaven and the letter of penance. So he tried to reform the religion. Then the beginning of Protestant and the Catholic religion has been reformed. So this is the beginning point.
Saint Calvin also, right? You can refer Saint Calvin, Calvinist, value Protestantism, right? Yes.
So
On time scale, but yes, like he has knowledge of Bible and all, right? He can start with that, right? Others can start with other reference also. There is no fixed point of beginning on temporal scale. ठीक है ना? Yes, I'm coming. Last draw. Yes.
So we can start with India's social reforms, how we studied about French Revolution. And
Yes.
how the Western
Yes. That is also. Yes, socio-religious reform movement. Yes. You can start with that. ठीक है. Yes. Next draw.
Sir, ऐसे issues में anecdote या case study से शुरू करना चाहिए.
Anecdote, better to write the case and reference, some reference of personalities, isn't it? Easy to start, some cases, जैसे religious reform, right? That scenario of religious reform movement, isn't it? Religious reform in India, reformers in India, right? Yes,
Indian Renaissance and freedom.
and that also, that what he said, yes.
So what I was saying, whatever you have quoted, that is good enough. But sir, that is showing a sir, कि somebody read something and then applied in his life
Mhm.
or did something so that harvested good.
Like but his reference is good, right? Bible was read by many, right? But Martin Luther or Saint Calvin, they interpreted and acted, followed, right?
So,
They follow.
so but my analogy is, so like we can quote the example of Hitler, that despite being so well known, despite being so well reversed in various like texts and everything,
Mhm.
despite being very much educated, he did not apply it in the right sense, and that is why it is
Welfare of the people. Yes, this also can be. This also can be. Yes. Yes.
Sir, can we say that knowledge is actually a theory
Mhm.
and application turns that theory into reality?
Reality.
And
Yes.
similarly, reading is merely scrolling through the textual content,
Mhm.
but reflection and introspecting into it gives a conceptual understanding of the situation.
Conceptual understanding of the situation. Yes. And also, like prepares ground for action. If one does not reflect on his readings, he will not act, isn't it? Right? Like Protestants, like Robert Clive, right? Robert Clive. Protestantism propagated, Saint Calvin propagated, right? Those who are born, right, they are selected for heaven before birth. Their fate after death is predestined, whether one will go to hell or heaven. God gives sign. God gives sign, right? And he propounded a concept of calling. God gives sign, concept of calling. One should take a call, vocation. If he is successful in his vocation, that indicates that he is among select one to go to heaven, be one with the God. And this, mobilized this knowledge, Saint Calvin ka, this was, like reflected, right, by many, right, in Western European society, and that prepared background, for rise of capitalism, like through their actions, to know whether they are among select one or not. Getting over, एक नॉलेज प्रोपोगेट किया सेंट कैल्विन ने, उसके ऊपर रिफ्लेक्शन देखिए रॉबर्ट क्लाइव कहाँ से कहाँ आ गया इंडिया में आके, एंड ही लाइक एस्टेब्लिश्ड, राइट, ब्रिटिश रूल, राइट. सो नॉलेज, तो ऐसा रेफरेंस दे सकते हैं. यू कैन गिव सच रेफरेंसेस, राइट. रिफ्लेक्शन प्रिपेयर्स बैकग्राउंड फॉर एक्शन, राइट. व्हेन यू आर रिफ्लेक्टिव you act. Reading without reflection of no use. When you reflect, you apply, you act, right? ठीक है. और क्वेश्चन पे आता हूँ, बस आपका सजेशन और कुछ इसमें.
सर इनोवेशन का ऐड कर सकते हैं.
हाँ, यस.
सर केस स्टडी ऐसे कर सकते हैं ना, मतलब जैसे इस टाइम तमिलनाडु में वाटर स्कैर्सिटी क्राइसिस चल रहा है. दे हैड नॉलेज ऑफ वाटरशेड मैनेजमेंट, हाउ टैंक्स आर टू बी मेड, but they still didn't apply it. And
Yes.
today the situation is they are among the water scarce areas.
Look, in such topics, ठीक है, start with some reference, but you have to crop points in main body, right? In main body, the easy way to write is setting a scenario, right? Setting a scenario to justify, giving a scenario to justify the statement. Reading without reflection, right? Reading without reflection, right? Like knowledge without application. In the scenario of family, right? People are educated, literate, educated, isn't it? Aware about the values, constitutional values, norms, isn't it? Laws, right? But they fail to reflect on, right? They do not reflect, right? And so they indulge in malpractices, isn't it? Malpractices in form of violence, isn't it? Conflict, violence against women, violence against children's. Getting your point? Denial of rights to children, right? So reading without reflection is of no use. Getting your point? कि these violences are there. Knowledge तो है सबको कि भाई law is there, domestic violence act is there, but despite that people indulged in domestic violence. They do not reflect on, isn't it? Getting a point. Okay. So in different spheres, you know, like economic sphere, what will you think? Economic sphere mein, just I suggested, you know, to set a scenario, give a case, isn't it, and justify the statement. Economic sphere mein?
Agriculture में sir, people know about the benefits of organic agriculture and everything, but they still go for like fertilizers and pesticides.
Yes.
Various scams and crises like ILS and crisis.
That also political sphere, politico-administrative sphere mein, right?
Sphere में like bank scams.
That you can cite. Ki of no use. Topic is ki reading without reflection, knowledge without application is of no use, right? People are aware of, isn't it? Aware of the rule books, aware of the laws, isn't it? But they do not reflect on while committing the crime, isn't it? They not reflect on those while committing the crime, scams, isn't it? Right?
Sir, government is aware of making agri reforms, but government, because of taking agriculture politicized vision, government is only giving subsidies, but not taking proper steps in agriculture reform. Can I say?
Like knowledge without application. You can relate like knowledge without reading, without reflection, isn't it? Reading is not only reading books, reading the situation, reading the faces, isn't it? Like reading the situation. Policymakers are aware of the problems, the crisis in agriculture, isn't it? But they fail to reflect on, right? They fail to reflect on, and so they are not acting to solve, acting at the grassroots level to solve the problem, isn't it? Right? Only, you know, temporary measures like subsidies, isn't it? Like loan waivers, isn't it? Pensions, freebies, isn't it? Without, you know, solving the problem at grassroots level, right? Okay.
We can quote 1991 crisis like LPG reform dependent India crisis. They were having the knowledge, but they did not act on that time. And same goes for 2008 crisis. Everyone had knowledge, but US was low.
Yes, subprime crisis and all, right? Yes.
Unemployability of the youth because of
That is like education is there, right? Education is there. Technology, education in technology is there. Skill is there. But reflections are not there, isn't it? To act. Motivation is not there because people are not reflecting on that they can use this knowledge for entrepreneurship, isn't it? Like reflections will lead to entrepreneurship. Application of knowledge leads to entrepreneurship. Getting a point, right? So low entrepreneurship in India, right, among women may very low entrepreneurship is there, right? Low entrepreneurship is there across the sections of society, you know. That is because knowledge not being applied, right? Readings are not reflected. Okay, so that also economic sphere mein. Yes, political sphere mein, political administrative sphere mein, as he told, you know, like knowledge is there, right? Knowledge is there, but despite knowledge, you know, inefficiency, red tapeism, inefficiency, isn't it? Delay in completion of, you know, projects, right? All this because of, you know, failure in
About hate speech.
application and yes, hate speeches also, you know, made by politicians, made by hate speeches made in society. Like people have knowledge that this will lead to, but they fail to reflect at the moment, isn't it? In the situations, they fail to reflect hate speeches, and such speeches leading to, you know, like violences, isn't it? Mob lynching and all this situation mein kya hai? People have, you know, knowledge, isn't it? But they fail to reflect. They are driven by the emotions. They are driven by, you know, the temporary, you know, like emotions, right? Emotional arousal. They fail to reflect on the consequences, isn't it? Getting your point, right? So this is like there also you can apply. Us area mein bhi.
Bureaucracy not taking decisions to play it safe.
Yes. They fail to reflect on. Right? So all like in different aspects of, you know, like scenario, in context of, you know, some scenario, some situation, you will justify, you will apply such a statement. right? कि knowledge is of no use, reading is of no use without application, without reflection, right? Okay, okay. और क्या point बोलेंगे?
Sir, on the political scale, now the situation of America's sanctions, means fear of sanctions on India, we know that how to tackle means America also.
Mhm.
But still we are not still we are in the fear conditions. Means oil हम export नहीं कर means import नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. तो हमारे पास means जैसे कि चाइना ने भी
Yeah, we are reading the situations. We are reading the situation, but not acting. You know, but not acting because we have failed to reflect on. We are not reflecting on the emergent situations, isn't it? The emergent, conditions, right? So this also you can set here. You can fit here, right? Reading without reflection of no use. ठीक है ना? Particularly what has happened, उसका example जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि pre-LPG situation, right? Like situation in 1970s. In 1970s, it was realized, right, कि India should open the markets for global players, isn't it? Foreign players. But Indira Gandhi ji denied, isn't it? Did not open the market, right? Right, under the influence of Russia, right? So crisis emerged in 80s. पूरा 80s में आपको crisis situation, isn't it? Then be 90s. So that is reading without reflection problems. Getting your point, right? So there also you can pre-LPG वाला situation में, right? जैसे China opened their market in 1978, isn't it? So that at that point of time there was realization that India should also open the markets, isn't it? But could not act because she failed to reflect on the emergent situation, right? Yes.
Sir, यहाँ पे reflection में we can actually talk about two different aspects.
Hmm.
One is the reflection of knowledge, while the second one can be the reflection of values.
Hmm.
When we talk about reflection of knowledge, we can talk about the failure of the education.
Hmm.
While reflection of values actually leads to failure of the education system. So हम दो aspects के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं. Actually, failure in reflection of values will lead to corruption or different type of ethical issues or moral issues.
Yes, that also मतलब in one paragraph you can write, कि reading without reflecting on the values, right? Constitutional values. Reading without reflecting on the constitutional knowledge, isn't it? Rules. Getting your point. तो मैंने बोला कि different sectors में you can count this, ठीक है ना? Okay.
So we can also quote that people are scoring 120, 125 marks in paper 4. And after 2-3 years they are caught up in
Corruption cases, right? Reflecting, reading without reflecting. नहीं, इधर भी people are scoring low actually, right? Like मुझे तो लगता है कि 100 last year Koya Harsa his score was 111 triple. His rank was 5, I think, right? 5. Koya ka rank was 5, but 111, and this is the score these days. ठीक है ना? So ethicality index पे students are performing low, but despite that they are being selected. Selection हो रहा है. So there is no significance in this competitive exam of this paper ethics. इससे कोई significance ही नहीं है, right? Because people like those who will reflect on ethicalities, they will perform better, right? In the paper they do not reflect on ethicalities, they reflect on readings, so they perform low, right? Like ethicality is practical, right? Like when you say ki I am ethical, so there are two aspects, right? Practical ethicality and ethical practicality. Practical ethicality and ethical practicality. Practical ethicality and ethical practicality. जैसे एक है कि भाई ethics जैसा कह रहा है, rule book जैसा कह रहा है, वैसा आप काम कर रहे हैं, ठीक है ना? आप ethically practical होते हैं जब administration में होते हैं, right? But emergent situation requires you to be practically ethical. Practically ethical, right? Constitution, government, governance after 11th 5-year plan, autonomy, substantial autonomy was extended to the states. State extended autonomy to the district administration, right? To be practically ethical. But since administrators are too bookish, right? Too bookish, right? They fail to reflect on the emergent situation, isn't it? And so they are inefficient, isn't it, in their performance. Getting a point, right? तो एक सेंस है, एग्जाम में भी अप्लाई करना आप, आपको बहुत सारा क्वेश्चन ऐसा होता है जिसमें कि डिमांड इज ऑफ प्रैक्टिकल एथिकलिटी, लेकिन चूंकि आप वही बात लिखना चाहते हैं जो नोट्स में दिया हुआ है, तो यू बिकम एथिकली प्रैक्टिकल, राइट, एथिकली प्रैक्टिकल, ठीक है ना. लाइक रीडिंग विदाउट रिफ्लेक्शन, बीइंग एथिकली प्रैक्टिकल, राइट. जो रीड किया है बस वही आप सोच रहे हैं, विदाउट बीइंग प्रैक्टिकली एथिकल, यू नो, विदाउट कंसिडरिंग द सिचुएशन, ठीक है. आपको प्रोग्राम इंप्लीमेंट करना होता है, स्वच्छ भारत अभियान, स्वच्छ भारत अभियान इन न्यू दिल्ली and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in an illiterate district of Bihar. I mean district with high rate of illiteracy in Bihar, isn't it? So in these two situations, can we adopt the similar, you know, ways and methods? TV media advertisement, television media advertisement, FM advertisement, hoarding and posters with Amitabh Bachchan in Bihar. Bhojpuri actors, people will relate more to Bhojpuri actors than Amitabh Bachchan, isn't it? Getting a point or not, right? So like there it requires, you know, different strategy. There you have to be practically, you know, ethical, isn't it, in your orientation, not only following blindly, you know, the government's standard, you know, directives. Autonomy is given now, right? So this is so on this line, you know, think more points in such topics. You know, you have to set a scenario, apply the topic, isn't it? You can set this scenario जैसे ऑफिस के अंदर sexual harassment at the workplace, right? Like there are rules, there are laws, isn't it, right? But people fail to reflect on, isn't it? People fail to reflect on, isn't it? And so indulge in such cases, such problems. Getting a point, ठीक है ना? So ऐसा like Constitution provides abolition of untouchability. Untouchability has been abolished, but in different forms untouchability continues. Why? We are aware कि untouchability is banned in India, but in different forms, you know, untouchability continues in our society, isn't it? Not caste based untouchability, but class based untouchability, isn't it? Distances, isn't it, right? Like we fail to reflect on. आपको पता चल जाएगा कि आपका साथ वाला को HIV AIDS है, practice untouchability, separation, isn't it? Reading without reflection, reading, that is also a form of untouchability, you know, right? Class based and like based on, you know, health issues and all, right? This is reading without reflection, isn't it? अभी जैसे एडवर्टीजमेंट आता है ना HIV के ऊपर कि छूने से एड्स नहीं होता, because people are so insensitive, they start practicing, you know, untouchability, maintaining social distance, right? They did not reflect on the knowledge, right? The readings कि छूने से एड्स नहीं होता, right? इसीलिए sensitization के लिए such advertisements are, you know, published, right? So this is like such, you know, examples you will give to validate, to justify such statements, right? There will be no model hint for such topics. Model hint होगा तो फालतू की बातें लिखी होंगी उसमें, ठीक है ना? You have to crop, setting the scenario, you have to justify the statement, right?
Sir, can we write about the riots taking place? Many political scientists have said that the riots can be controlled by the police within 2 to 3 hours. Still riots are going on in India.
Yes. Like military was called after 4 days of Muzaffarnagar rioting. After beginning of, you know, after 4 days military was called. Military would have been called in very first day. एक दिन में military आ जाता, because military was stationed at Roorkee, just, you know, 50 kilometers away from 70 kilometers away from Muzaffarnagar, isn't it? But the administration, the politician, they failed to reflect on the situation, isn't it? Right, उनका vested interest था. Party in the government thought कि we will get minority votes, and party in opposition thought we will get majority. Neither opposition, you know, highlighted the issue, nor position was serious, and so rioting started and 50,000 people were displaced, right? So that is reading without reflection, reading without reflection, right? Okay.
In the reverse, we can write that knowledge without application is of useful. For example, someone have knowledge of making bomb, and when it applied, then there will be disaster.
Yes. But he will reflect on, you know. Huh?
If someone wanted to learn about bomb, definitely he will
reflect on, right? Reflection. We will go by flow of the river, you know, in such topics. Flow of the river के साथ जाएंगे, ठीक है ना? In such topics, there will be many such topics, you know, जिसमें आपको केवल पॉजिटिव ही नोशन आएगा माइंड के अंदर, ठीक है ना? और जो नोशन आ रहा है उसके साथ आप फ्लो होंगे, राइट? डू नॉट क्वेश्चन दैट नोशन, यू नो, राइट? यस.
Sir, give the example of radicalized youth which are reading things but are not
Reflecting on, yes. Fraternity, right? Brotherhood, right? Mutual coexistence, yes. This also. Okay. So, please write on this topic. Last वाला जो topic मैंने दिया, ठीक है? Knowledge without application is of no use, or reading without reflection is of no use. Better write knowledge without application is of no use. Okay. Okay, see you. Bye.